It is 7:45. Are you thinking about buying waterfront property, whether it's on the beach, intracoastal, or somewhere along the many rivers we have in our area? There are a lot of good properties available, and they're going for great prices right now. But there are a few things that you need to know. There's a free expo going on tomorrow where you can get some more information. We'll tell you where that expo is in just a moment. First, though, we want to introduce Kelly White. She is with the Florida Marine Contractors Association. Good morning to you, Kelly.
Good morning.
A lot of great deals. Now is the time to be buying riverfront, waterfront property, if, of course, you can afford it. But you got to know a lot of stuff about those docks and all that other thing. Do you find people just aren't really familiar with the rules and the laws?
Yes, and there's been a lot of changes implemented between the Department of Environmental Protection and Army Corps that the general public does not have knowledge of.
Okay, so if you are in the market for a new house that's got a dock, one of the things that you need to do is to make sure that the permits were issued properly on that dock?
Correct.
How do you do that?
You would have to contact the various permitting agencies, Department of Environmental Protection, Army Corps, St. Johns River Water Management, and verify.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. Will all of those agencies be involved in your dock?
No, not necessarily. It depends on what body of water you're on.
Got it.
As to who governs it. There's also the Department of Environmental Protection in Tallahassee if it's a large structure where there's a sovereign submerged land lease.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it can get quite complicated, which presents more complication in the event that it's not permitted correctly.
Yeah, what could happen?
They could actually mandate that you remove the structure, or they could make you go through the entire permit process at the cost of the new homeowner. It can get quite expensive.
And this is something that really could tie up a lot of house sales to the detriment of the economy, really. I know it's important, but it could stop things.
It could, but rightfully so. If it's not permitted and there's failure, or it's not permitted and you want to expand or improve, then it's going to tie you up anywhere from a year to 2 years to do that expansion. So buyer beware.
Buyer beware.
Yes.
Do realtors, do you feel, are pretty well versed on this stuff? Not at all?
Most of them do not even understand that you need to transfer permits that are in existence.
Transfer permits,
yes.
And that's the second bullet point. What does that mean?
With the sovereign and submerged land lease, there's actually an annual lease fee that has to be transferred from the current homeowner to the new homeowner, and then there's other permits on the structure, whether depending on which division it's in, those permits must be transferred so that in the event that you do want to add a boat lift, for example, or another platform, you can't get the permit to expand if it's not in your name.
Okay, if you're also thinking about buying a home that's already got an existing dock, you need to make sure that a licensed contractor worked on that. And how do you do that?
The Construction Industry Licensing Board is regulated by the state of Florida. What happens is if they don't have a valid license and you have a catastrophic failure where you have bodily injury or a substantial amount of property damage, there is no recourse except for some limited civil remedy, and that's providing they own anything that's not already liened. If they are licensed and there's bodily injury or a fatality involved with a catastrophic failure, then the state of Florida can actually go in and prosecute the person because they have agreed to abide within the state regulations.
All right, this is a lot to know.
Yes.
This is a lot to understand. So I'm going to tell you where to go so you can get all of your questions answered. It's tomorrow. You know where Nippers is? Right there on the Intracoastal at Beach Boulevard. Go to the Beach Marine facility there. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., the DEP is going to be there. They're going to have a lot of representatives there so you can get your questions answered. And we've got this on our news4jax.com's morning show page. Kelly, thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
All right, 7:49.